What's up, party people? It's time for the video you've all been patiently waiting for, the top 5 offensive playbooks quick sim for your Madden 26 rebuilds. Yes, I know it's taken a while, but I went through every playbook in Madden 26 to make sure you have the right playbooks for your rebuilds. Whether it's putting up the most stats, winning the most games, or doing a little bit of both, I got you covered in this video. So before we jump into the top 5, let's talk about Madden 26 quick sim playbooks in general compared to past Maddens. Now in past Maddens, there was 3, maybe 4 or 5 playbooks that threw for over 4,500 yards, depending how you built your teams. Some even threw over 5,000, like multiple playbooks. This year, there's only one. It seems playbooks are tuned down a little bit and tuned more to the run. That's how I've seen them be more effective, is running the ball. Also, not just scheme of the offensive playbook matters, but I've seen records in quick sim change because of the defense's scheme, and it affects the offense that much. It's a little weird. Coaching, of course, QB traits, all that depends how you build your team. But I use the best team for most of the tests. Uh, I use the Ravens. They could thrive in any scheme, any style, whether it's QB rush, a quarterback running heavy, a running back heavy offense, or throwing the ball. And they also have one of the better defense. And then one of the last tests I did is I tested them with the Jaguars. And if a playbook could take the Jaguars and give them a winning record consistently, which is kind of hard because they have the worst offense in the league to start, um, it was something I noted, and that was heavily weighted, not just the stats, not just winning. So there's a lot of thought that went into this, a lot of simulations. I did not get into what were the best schemes for each playbook. We would be here another week or two because that's a lot of simulations. There's a lot of schemes. And quite frankly, most playbooks are in one of 3 schemes. And there's, I think, 9 total offensive schemes. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's a lot of simulation. So we will do that in another video. Let's just get into the meat and potatoes of this. These are the top 5 playbooks that I think you should rebuild in your next Madden 26 franchise. At number 5, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, this was a perennial top 3, if not one of the best offenses in past Maddens. I think it's fallen off a little bit. I think they tuned it down a little bit given the season that the Kansas City Chiefs have last year. Probably geared a little bit more to the run. Sometimes the wins will fluctuate between 11 and 16, depending how good your team is. It's a top 3 in points. You'll see top 5 in pass. You won't touch 5,000 or go over it like you will in pass Maddens. You can expect to throw between 4,000 and 4,500. Top 10 in rush, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. This is one of the best playbooks for throwing to the tight end. It feeds the slot, and the RBs can catch huge pass catching TD numbers. Like I said, it's not as potent as it was in past Maddens, but it's still pretty good comparatively in Madden 26. One of the best playbooks that you can build with. So let's take a look at some example seasons here, and then we'll get to number 4. So in this first example, we went 16-1 with the Ravens, number 2 in points, number 4 in pass, number 5 in rush, 4,100 yards passing, 33 passing touchdowns. Lamar Jackson did rush for 551 yards, 9 rushing touchdowns. Henry went over 1,300 yards with 14 rushing touchdowns. As you can see here, the tight end, Andrews, had 81 catches for 847 yards. Most tight ends struggle to go over 500. Zay Flowers did have 78 catches for 1,000 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. Hopkins was 91 for 984 and 15 receiving touchdowns. So the one thing I did find out while doing these simulations, I forgot, you want to make sure you put your number 1 wide receiver in the slot as well. That's how you maximize this playbook. When I did that, it immediately had this playbook throw for more yards and be more geared to the pass. So let's take a look at the second example, and you can see what I mean. All right, so this example, we went 15-2, number 1 in points, number 3 in pass, number 3 in rush, 4,500 yards passing, 40 passing touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Lamar only rushed for 432 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. It's pretty baseline. Henry had over 1,400 yards with 14 rushing touchdowns. And then you look at the receiving numbers. Andrews had 103 catches, 1,176 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. Flowers, who's the number one wide receiver, and this time he was in the slot, had 97 catches for 1,168 yards and 19 receiving touchdowns. Hopkins also had 88 catches for 1,054 and 7. So these are more the numbers you'll expect. Make sure you have that number one in that slot. Your tight end's going to get fed. This is pretty well balanced as far as numbers. And as I said, one of the things with this, even though I have an example of them going 16-1 and 15-2, I did see some simulations where they only won 11 games. So you got to know that when you pass more, sometimes you're going to win less in Madden 26. And I like to stay balanced, but you can also win with passing all over the place. It doesn't matter. You just have to make sure you build your team right. So let's get into number 4. Sitting at number 4 is a playbook I actually had higher until I did some even more additional tests since recording the last section of number 5. And I think I found a better version of this. But let's talk about the Rams. Top in points, top in passing yards, top in rush yards. Great playbook. You can throw from 4,000 to 4,500 yards, around 45 touchdowns. Now, with someone like Lamar, you can rush for almost 600 yards, 6 touchdowns. Halfbacks, a little bit lower, especially on the touchdown side of things. But this playbook is pretty much the same as Madden 25. Not as crazy, but you can throw for, as you'll see, over 120 catches, consistently over 100 catches a season for your number one wide receiver, also in the slot. Well over 1,500 yards, 1,700 yards, 16 touchdowns, over 20 touchdowns. Great numbers for your other wide receivers. But you will see in the playbook I thought I was going to put here that there's a better version of this playbook, but still great. I'm not sure any other playbook besides another one that we're going to talk about throws for as many receptions to one wide receiver. That remains to be seen, but this is a great playbook, and it's top 3, top 5 almost in every category. So let's talk about the example season. So in this example season with the Rams, went 15-2, number 1 in points, number 2 in pass, number 5 in rush, 4,500 yards passing, 45 passing touchdowns and 9 interceptions, 605 rush yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. Pretty good in the Rams. You didn't have that last year. Only 1,185 rushing yards for the halfback with only 7 touchdowns. That is what is bringing this playbook down, in my opinion. Flowers had 127 catches for 1,771 yards, 16 receiving touchdowns. Bateman, 69 for 851 and 8. Hopkins, 88 receptions for 827 and 9. Tight end, pretty good compared to other playbooks. 68 catches, 675 yards for 5 receiving touchdowns. And the halfback had 281 yards receiving and 5 receiving touchdowns. And then you go on to season number 2, only 13-4, but still number 1 in points, number 5 in pass, number 4 in rush, 4,100 yards, 43 touchdowns, the 4 interceptions, only 441 yards rushing for Lamar with 4 rushing touchdowns. But this time, over 1,300 yards for the halfback, still only 9 touchdowns. Flowers was down 109, 1,500 yards receiving, 21 receiving touchdowns. So there you go. This is our number 4. Still pretty good. Not as good as Madden 25. I don't think we're going over 2,200 yards receiving this season for a wide receiver, which is probably good because it got really ridiculous. So let's get into our number 3. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers playbook. Honestly, I thought about making this number 1 or number 2, but I got to be real with what other people want. Not everyone wants what I want. Very balanced playbook. Great at winning. It won with the Jags, which is always good to see. Put up a lot of 15-2 seasons. Tops in points, top 5 in passing. Sometimes it falls down to top 10, but one of the big things is with this playbook, it's one of the best rushing playbooks in all of Madden 26. Think about this. Your quarterback can throw for 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, and your halfback can run for 16 to 1700 yards a game with double-digit rushing touchdowns. And then your wide receivers, they all can go over 1,000 yards. If one wide receiver goes, for 1,400 yards, then that's going to hurt the other wide receivers. There is, so much that can go around. Tight ends are okay. I've seen Bateman who is the primary slot, 88 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And then I've seen all 3 wide receivers, I'm going to show you in this one example, all went over 1,000 yards. I've even seen Flowers, who's the number 1, have 98 catches for over 1,300 yards and 10. And all the wide receivers still caught double-digit touchdowns. It's a great playbook, man. It's got everything. You can pass for 4,000 yards, which I think is a really good baseline. Only so many playbooks can do that, and it can be one of the top rushing playbooks at the same time. And another thing that's very unique about it is I've seen the wide receiver 4 catch upwards of 5 touchdowns, along with these other wide receivers putting up 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdown seasons. Let's take a look at this one season, which is, in my opinion, a great example of what you can expect. And I only am showing one because all of the other examples I had were pretty much just like this. As you can see, Lamar Jackson, over 4,000 yards, 42 passing touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 1,700 yards rushing, 14 rushing touchdowns. Lamar still had 404 on the ground and 5. And then when we get into talking about the wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, who's kind of slow, had 85 catches for over 1,100 yards, 13 receiving touchdowns. Flowers had 93 catches for 1,100 yards and 10 receiving touchdowns. And then you had Bateman, the primary slot, 70 for 1087 and 14. The tight end even had 62 for 643 and 3. Just a great playbook all around. I mean, I think this could be number 1, but that's up to you. What do you want? Do you want to, be in the top passing statistics and the rushing statistics and win a lot of games and, use these playbooks to help build along with a lesser overall team? Well, this is the playbook for you. Hell, it could have been number 1, it could have been number 2, but I put it here at number 3. So let's get to number 2. All right, so here we are at number 2, and we have the Atlanta Falcons. Honestly, could have been 3, could have been 1. Originally, I had it at number 4, and then I made one small change when I was doing some final tests, making this video, and I had to shoot it up to number 2. It's the Rams meets the Packers. It runs, the RBs run for more yards than the Rams, less than the Packers, and it's really, I think, the only playbook I really saw that can touch going over 4,800 yards. Maybe the Rams can, but this playbook's way better. Originally had it as a top 5 points, pass, and rush, and I think it could be even higher in pass with one small change. Definitely a winning playbook. The Jaguars did great in it. That's a great test of how good a playbook is. If it can take a bad team and elevate their record, it's great. So let's get into the examples here. This is the first simulation I'm going to show you is with just Bateman in the slot, and the next simulation I'm going to show you is with Flowers in the slot, which is the number 1, and putting him in the slot puts a higher rated player there, and he's only an 83 overall. All right, so this example here, 14-3, number 1 in points, top 5 pass, number 8 in rush, 4,200 yards passing, 42 passing touchdowns. For Lamar, he also had 400 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. Henry had 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns. And then when you look at the wide receiver numbers, Bateman, primary slot, 89 catches, 1,037 yards, 14 touchdowns. Hopkins, 88 catches, 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. Flowers, 73 for 894 and 5. The tight end, Andrews, 87 catches, 885 yards and 9 receiving touchdowns. That's almost there with the Chiefs. One of the best tight end playbooks. And the halfback catches some passes, 336 receiving yards and 4 receiving touchdowns for King Henry. So, I mean, this is number 4 playbook in my opinion. But now let's look at when you put the number 1 wide receiver in the slot. And you should also know that I've tested with other playbooks. That doesn't work with every playbook. If you put the number 1 in the slot, it kind of hampers the numbers. But for this one, you put your number 1 at the slot position as well. This playbook is going to take off. So let's take a look at this. This example here, 15 and 2, number 1 in points, number 2 in pass, number 3 in rush, 4,800 yards passing, 46 passing touchdowns to 9 interceptions, almost 500 yards rushing, 6 rushing touchdowns. Henry had 1,400 yards, 13 rushing touchdowns. Flowers, 115 catches, 1,800 yards, and 25 receiving touchdowns. Andrews had 87 catches for 855 yards and 10 touchdowns. Bateman, his numbers were down. So were Hopkins because a lot of numbers went to Flowers. He had 1,800 yards receiving and 25 touchdowns. So that's going to take away from them. That's an awesome playbook, man. If you telling me here, you get almost 5,000. Look, I'm so excited here. You get almost 5,000 yards passing, over 45 passing touchdowns, over 1,400 yards rushing, double-digit rushing touchdowns for your halfback, and your slot is absolutely eating, and so is your tight end. Amazing. I love it. So, like I said, this could have been number 1. This could have been number 3. Great playbook, but it's time to talk about number 1. And if you don't know what number 1 is now, I don't know where you've been. It was pretty easy to determine what the number 1 is. I didn't want to make this playbook the number 1, but I can't argue with the stats. So I got to go with, I can't be too contrarian. So anyway, let's get into it. This is the number 1 playbook in all of Madden 26. Don't worry, it's not the Miami Dolphins that it's the worst playbook. It's the Cincinnati Bengals playbook, and most of you knew that already. I didn't want to put it at number 1, but I had to give in. It's the most stats you're going to throw with any playbook, and that's what everyone wants to do. I mean, you're going to have 3 1,000-yard wide receivers. Heck, you can have 3 of them go over 1,200 yards, as you'll see in some of these examples. You're definitely going to go over 5,000 yards. Definitely going to throw over 45 passing touchdowns. Now, there's 2 reasons why I didn't want to put it at number 1 and I was hesitant. Number 1 is the rushing stats you get for your halfback are very low. If you have a bad halfback, you're getting 500-600 yards and you're not hitting double-digit touchdowns. If you're a really good running back, maybe you hit 1,000 and double-digit touchdowns. Sometimes you get 15 or 20 rushing touchdowns with like 800-900 yards, but that's going to take away from your passing numbers. This playbook is set up to feed the wide receiver, especially your number 1. And I've seen the most reception stats to the number 1 wide receiver, which is like 133 or something like that. And then the other reason why I wasn't going to put it at number 1 is because if you have a bad team like the Jaguars, you're going to really struggle in year 1. And I was fired twice as a Jaguars head coach because we couldn't win. So that's why I think you probably should use number 2, number 3, at least at the beginning until you get your team overall. Don't get fired. It's easier to get fired if you leave it on. So those are the 2 main reasons. And even if you have the scheme wrong or the wrong coach, some teams just don't throw that much with this playbook. So it's not going to automatically make your team throw for, 1,000,000 yards. But if you build it correctly, quickly, you're going to fly up the charts with a ton of stats. So as you can see from all these examples, I'm just letting them run. It's one of the best playbooks there is stat-wise, and I can't argue that. So it's number 1. I really like number 2, number 3, and I like them even more because I had to dig for them a little bit. And the Bengals, you simulate one time through an entire season, you see how good it is, and just no other playbook can touch it with the stats. And that's about it. I'm losing my voice. I'm exhausted. I've spent 4 hours tonight into the next morning recording this for you guys because I have a problem with speaking, and I've had to re-record segments a million freaking times and get all this organized for you. So this is about a 20-minute video, and it probably took me, I don't know, 5 hours to make, 4 or 5 hours. But hey, I'm glad I finally got it done. It took a long time. Tell me what you think. And are you gonna? Did I point out a new playbook to you that you weren't using, you weren't aware of? I'll have a lot more. I have so much information on every playbook now. I just took the time, did it right away. Made sure I had what playbooks did what, and I'm gonna have way more videos for you coming out. I think the next thing I'm gonna focus on. I know a lot of people are asking for defense, but we'll probably check out what are the best schemes for these 5 playbooks, and then go from there. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes on the video. It'll help it go viral, especially something like this is searchable. It helps me keep doing what I'm doing. So thank you again, and I hope you enjoy. And please, as always, let me know in the comments your rebuild stories. And if you have any problems, I was able to help quite a few people already that asked questions in the comments. So ask away, and I will do my best to answer them. All right. Have a great rebuild. Keep rebuilding those teams, and challenge yourself. Don't always go for the Cincinnati Bengals of the world. Try to build a balanced playbook, or do whatever you can. All right, later.